Today we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Wade Elliott. I am a student at Penn State University, as you know. I'm a rising senior. I'm about to be turning 21, and Chanel, or Miss Bruce, was my high school teacher.
All right, so today we are going to have an awesome conversation, but mukbang style. We got food from Sardi's, which is, I think, more local to the DMV. I'm not sure in terms of other locations, but this is our Sardi's mukbang. So welcome.
You didn't get the right one.
Because you didn't say which one.
But the right one is the spices.
I don't even use the sauce.
Very good.
All right, so she's hungry, I'm hungry. All right, so I got the quarter chicken, she got the half chicken, and our side is, we both got the fried rice and the yuca fries. So we're gonna show you guys what delicious goodness. This might be yours.
Wait. Sardi's is fire.
Bang! When I say this slaps, like.
This good with the sandwich.
All right, this is the sandwich. All right, but so before I start, I'm just gonna say a quick grace in my head because, you know, gotta be thankful.
Give myself
All right, so what are we talking about today, Miss Elliott?
So we're going to be talking about my experience in college, but not just, I guess it's not limited to just my experience per se, but like the things that I wish I would have known or someone would have told me before I started going to Penn State. Like there are a lot of things, like hidden secrets that people don't tell you before you enter the collegiate. I think the number one thing that I was telling her about that I learned before I started school was that there's like the impression when you come into school is like, oh, you know, I have to, you know, have a good time, party, which is, you know, granted, like those are all things that I did my freshman year of college. But no one tells you that you literally have all 4 years to have a good time. The parties aren't going anywhere. The club is not going anywhere, and the best party of the year that you think is the best party of the year, there's probably going to be a better party. So I would say don't try to spend all your time partying as a freshman, especially if you never had the experience of being in like a party scene at all. Like if you've never drank or done anything like that, you shouldn't be going out 24/7 because it's gonna be easy for you to fall into that trap of always partying and being out all the time. So that was number one thing that I learned before I came in. No one did tell me that. I mean, people tell you, oh, you shouldn't party, whatever, but it's either don't party at all or have a great time. No one really tells you how to like manage your time effectively. So yeah.
I agree. My experience was a little different. I went to a smaller school, like really small school, so like we partied, but not really, you know, and like we have these things called Thumping Thursdays, and they had like magicians come, and hypnotists come.
New York?
Yeah, in the Bronx, Manhattan, go Jaspers. So it wasn't like, you know, like a big school where they have like legit student population and like the parties would be jumping. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have, like we wanted like a real party, we had to go into the city, and we're all underage, you know. These people they're checking IDs for real.
Always.
And then we had like, it was like a bunch of bars at the bottom, Broadway Joe's. I don't know if that's still open. I don't drink, but I still went this, you know, for the fellowship. But it still wasn't like my scene because it wasn't like my type of music where I can like really dance to. It's just like, you know, bar music, like pour some sugar on me type stuff. You know, back in the day it was like Jay-Z and, you know, Mason and the rest of them, and we trying to get down to can I get a what? They're not playing that at the bar, you know. So they're playing some Bon Jovi or Def Leppard, like whatever. So what else do you wish that someone told you? Like, what was like your experience from freshman year up until now that you just like, I never thought like I would experience this like ever in life? So I'm sure you had like some experiences.
Give some background into like my upbringing. So I grew up in PG County, Maryland, which is a predominantly black area, and it's a lot of wealthy black people as well. So I've been to private school my entire life. So I've had a very privileged upbringing, and high school was the very first time that I actually went to school with other races other than just black people. So that was like different. But when I went to Penn State, it was like a huge culture shock because obviously people of color are 60% of the population. And then I'm a black person and I'm also African and Caribbean, so like it made my box even smaller. And I don't think anybody really warned me about that either. I mean, people tell you things about PWI, but there's so many things about being in the culture that you're not familiar with, and especially a school so big, like as the magnitude of Penn State. It was strange. It was strange, and I had to adjust while also trying to adjust to being away from home. So I don't feel like anybody warned me about that culture shock either, because they thought that it was going to be simple because I had already been to St. John's, but it wasn't. So
why do you think it was like a shock?
The people, like even being from PG, like there we have a certain type of way that we do things, and even black people from other places like Philly and New York don't act the same as they do here. So I had to adjust to that. And then it was difficult because I had to like, I feel like I constantly had to like prove myself that I was deserving of the place that I was at, and that I wasn't in just to fit a quota, that I was actually intelligent. So that was strange. I've never been in an environment where I've constantly have to like prove my intellect. So that was difficult to do.
So who do you felt like made you feel like you have to like prove like, hey?
The white people I had to prove my intellect with the white people. Mm-hmm. With the black people, I had to prove that like, it was like this idea of like, you ain't like, you're black, but you ain't like black because you didn't grow up like the rest of us. I was always invalidated for my experience, or like it was my fault that my parents were well off. Like I was blamed for that, or like tossed aside. So I had to like prove that like,
but how do you feel like they figured out that you didn't come from the same environment or a similar environment?
They'd ask.
Oh, so what type of questions did they ask you?
Like what school you go to? Mm-hmm. Like, I think one time I mentioned that we had iPads. Oh, my friend was like, iPads? I was like, yeah. And that's actually when the conversation started going into more details. Like, yeah, they gave us iPads to keep like our 4 years. It was like, we didn't get that. And then they also know, like, a lot of times when they would talk about their high school experiences, I never said anything. A lot of them went to schools that, like, they had to go through, like, metal detector and all that stuff, like, and that was normal. I ain't say nothing, so they just were like, what's going on? Like, why aren't you contributing to the conversation? I was like, that wasn't my experience. So that was strange too. And a lot of girls, my freshman year, a lot of the girls I used to hang out with were like either from Philly or like Jersey or whatever, mm-hmm. And they used to fight. I never fought a day in my life. I mean, I'm sure maybe if I had the opportunity to protect myself, like I would step up to the plate, but they could like fight. There were like a lot of times I found myself caught in situations where I was like witnesses to like fights going on. I'm like, this is not me. Oh, I don't know how, I'm not really a part.
So do you think like as the year progressed, they kind of like people just in general just kind of relaxed and like you just became like part of the fold, as opposed to, you know, like, so I think initially when you meet people, they're trying to like see what you're about, where you're from, and like how sincere you are. So it may come off as like, sometimes it might be judgment, but it may come off as judgment based on like how they are. But they were just testing to see like how authentic you are as a person. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. And I will give them that. But I mean, in that moment, it didn't feel like that. It felt like an attack.
Yeah. Oh, in a moment, it all feels like wow.
Yeah, like,
and then in perspective and like with time, you're like, okay, I see where she was coming from.
I understand.
It wasn't personal.
Exactly. But at the time, it felt like an attack. And I was like, wow, I do not belong. Like, most of the black community at Penn State were either from Philly, from New York, Jersey, like, all of them. So they all had they were similar in their demeanor. And even though there was a lot of people from Maryland, like, we were, like, kind of just all, like, spread out. Like, I don't know. I honestly believe, like, where you're from, like, really shapes who you are. So I had to learn to not take things personally.
Was there anything that you experienced, like, academically or whatever throughout your years that you'd like to share with us? That, like, you were afraid to talk to other people about, and, like, you know, things that you dealt with by yourself, and you even though you had friends there, you still kind of wish that you had someone that you could have reached out to like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like, this is what I'm going through. You've gone through the same thing. Like, what were some of your coping strategies to help me? Like, did you have the experience?
So my freshman year, my first semester was cool. Like, I took a bio class. I had dreams of being a medical doctor, and I took bio, and that was good. That was it. That's all I needed. That was the worst class I've ever taken, actually, like, to this day. But even with that, I still got away with 3.0. So I was like, and I had gotten a C in that class. So I was like, if I got like a B or an A, my GPA would have been higher. So I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna settle for this, fine. But second semester, I felt like I found like a niche of friends, and I was out more frequently, and my grades started like dropping. And by the time maybe a month of school was left, I realized like how bad they were, and I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I only have a month to get my grades up, and like I fell into like a quick like sadness, like, and it was hard because I'm not used to performing poorly academically, and I'm also not used to disappointing my parents either. So coming home with like those grades were like, they were just like, what happened? And I was just like, I don't know, even though I did know, but I was like, I don't know what's going on, you know. And there was a lot of pressure on me for sophomore year to perform better. And in sophomore year, I would say that I was functionally like depressed. And I say functionally in the sense that like I was still like walking around and like people would see me and stuff, but I was miserable because I felt like I couldn't get my grades up. I didn't know how to get my grades up. And then 2, I was questioning whether or not I really wanted to pursue a career in psychology. I had a lot of people like pushing me to do things like in law, because people always say I'll be a good lawyer, or pursuing something other than psych, because the idea was you can't have a solidified career pursuing psychology. So I was really doubting myself, doubting my abilities, and I was depressed. Like, I used to spend days sometimes in my room. I wouldn't go to class. I was miserable. And sometimes the idea is when you're depressed or you're upset or sad, it has to be like this big, grand, like, thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but the assumptions that people believe that you're like sobbing. But my thing was I just couldn't even move. Like, I just didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. And that was difficult to explain to my parents because I felt like at the time they didn't really understand as to why I was behaving in that manner. And then I didn't know how to explain that to my friends either, because to them, they thought I was okay. And I'm not someone who likes to go into a lot of detail about myself in terms of my feelings. Like, I talk about my feelings a lot, but I couldn't talk about it because I didn't even understand it myself to explain it to someone else. So that was really hard for me. Sophomore year was really hard. And I wish, like, looking back, I wish that I had, like, taken a risk and gone to someone or talked to someone. But, like, even, like, reflecting, I don't even know who that person would have been to communicate with or explain how I was feeling, because in the moment it felt so foreign to me. So
You guys didn't have a counseling department or something?
we do. So, but at Penn State, so they're understaffed. So if let's say, for instance, like if I call in and ask CAPS, the counseling and psychological services, if I call CAPS and ask them, you know, for an appointment to talk to a therapist, I could be on the waiting list for like 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
Right. So, and by
It's a big school.
that's yeah, and like that's a long time. The only time they'll put you as priority is if you're like saying like my life, I'm like about to commit suicide or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to like talk or anything, easily 6, 7, 8 week wait, which is ridiculous. But it's like I also can't even be mad at those people because, like I said, they're understaffed and there's only so many of them and they can't take everybody. So, like, the hope is that Penn State will be more proactive in hiring therapists or psychologists for the center. But, yeah.
Well, you know what? Hopefully, someone from Penn State's watching this. Do better, y'all. The kids need you. These young adults need you.
They do.
All right, so today I'm drinking water. I love water. And Miss Elliott, that is guava juice that I found at Costco's. Absolutely delicious. And then I also found some soursop juice. Right? So I'm going to have her savor that a little bit and then mix the two. And let me know how that tastes. Because if it's banging, you heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Let me open it up. How's your food?
It's fire.
Like legit. I'm just like on the side, just busting it down.
And guava juice, I don't know if y'all know, but we're both Guyanese, and this is a very popular thing that they drink, guava juice and soursop juice. Like, so I just had like a flashback to like 2 summers ago when I was there. Oh, so good.
It's so good. This rice is like so good. The chicken, bomb.
It is. I mean, I think it's pretty for the food quality. Like, I feel like it's worth the money.
Yeah, it's reasonably priced. Like
Yeah.
it is really good. So I'm gonna try this. I'm not really a sauce person.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Depends. Right? This is the yellow salsa. Yellow sauce. So I'm gonna try this with my yuca fries. And I'm gonna let you guys know how this tastes. And then there also is the green salsa. I'm gonna try that with my yuca fries and let you know. But the thing about it is I don't even remember which one I ordered. Because I feel like she just gave me, because you know it's part like you are required to like get a sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she just gave me 2.
They usually ask you which one you want, though.
Yeah, she just put that bad boy in there. All right, so let me see what this talking about. It's spicy.
Mm-hmm.
It's spicy. Not like, oh my god, it's spicy, but it's like spicy. And a little kick to it. And it also, it's like cream. It's a cream base, so there's some milk or something in here. Let me see. I'm trying to read the ingredients. Make sure nobody ain't trying to poison me. It's hard to read. I'm sure it's probably up there. All right, so this one, it's all right. Let me try the green sauce. It says green, but it's not really green. They're both like similar in color. Yeah.
The rest was saying the red one.
It's like legit red.
Yeah. It's the same. It's like it's darker than this though, a little bit, but it's not by much. It's the same.
But it's not red.
Yeah, but it's not red. But it tastes like spicier.
But how we having a red sauce and it's not red? I mean,
I think it's like green, yellow, red, like the temperature.
Oh. Lo veo. Okay. So the green sauce is spicier
than yellow?
Yes.
That's weird. Really?
Absolutely. I immediately felt like heat rise to my head just now. So the red one is spicier?
Yeah.
Have you tried the green one? Try the green one.
The red one is spicier.
Spicier than that? Oh my gosh. My scalp would be on fire.
It's so good though.
All right, what else would you like to share? Oh, can you? Okay, I have a good question for her. Most larger schools will have like multicultural organizations, and you being of Liberian and Guyanese heritage, right? So the Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean heritage, and African heritage. Did you feel like you had to choose between the two?
Yes.
And then also being an American-born Black person.
Yeah.
So
all the time. Literally.
Within those three, you know what I'm saying? And within those three cultures, like, where do you feel pulled? If you had to identify three, if you had to identify which one you feel the most slightly inclined to identify yourself as being, and if there's one, which one would it be and why? And then talk about your experiences being African American with heritage being in Guyana, South America, and Liberia, Africa.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about all those things. I'm gonna start off by, I guess, with the identification thing. The assumption is like that I am more connected to my Caribbean heritage because my mom is from there, and my mom's family is the one that lives. Most of them, half of them live in Maryland, half of them live in Atlanta. So like I'm around my Guyanese family like all the time, and because my mom is Guyanese, obviously, and I've been to Guyana 7 times, right?
More than me.
Yes. So I've been to Guyana 7 times, and I'm closer to my Guyanese family for sure, absolutely. However, my Liberian side, I feel like growing up, like probably until maybe like high school, like my African side was like the predominant one in the house. So my dad is also Liberian. Yeah.
I can tell.
We used to eat, mommy rarely made Caribbean food.
She cooks Liberian food?
All the time.
I taught her.
So a lot of his friends, but like when she met them, she told them that she wanted to learn. And one of his guy friends is actually like a chef. And so he gave her like this book and he taught her how to make. So she knows how to make so many Liberian dishes. So growing up, the only time I ate Guyanese food is if I was going over to a family's friend's house or if it was for Christmas, mom would make pepper pot. But like that's literally it. Because she was catering to my father. So I ate predominantly like Liberian food. So for those who Liberian, cassava leaf, palm butter, rice and gravy, pepper soup, all that stuff. That was all for my mother.
What's rice? What's rice butter?
Not rice.
What did you say? Something butter. What butter?
Oh, palm butter. It's like a I don't know how to describe it, but it's like usually it has like crabs, chicken, and shrimp in it, and it's kind of like it looks orange, and it's like the gravy is like a sauce, really spicy, and you eat it with rice. It's so good. Like it's really good. Think of it like a curry. Okay. It stains like curry. It's like that, but it's not curry. And
is it turmeric? It's turmeric?
No.
Okay. So what's the spice that stains it?
It's a good question.
Oh, never mind.
It's a good question. My mom probably gonna look at this like, how you don't know?
Mind my business.
I don't know. But it's really good. And so I grew up on that. My parents used to entertain a lot. And the people they're entertaining are Africans. They're like Liberians. They were a part of a lot of these like organizations in Maryland that were like supporting Liberians, and like they used to be really involved in Liberian community in the area. So that was like I spent most of my life going to like all these like Liberian parties and stuff. That was like my upbringing. But because his family is so like spread out across America and the world, I didn't like get close to anyone that was Liberian, for one, and two, I can't really like do like the broken up English thing. Like for me, it's way harder to do than like Guyanese like broken English. So that's why. So and then I'm American, but I feel like I identify with American culture just by like the pop culture, so like music and maybe clothes or something like that. But I identify way more with my Caribbean or like West African side. But then going to Penn State, I never had to choose. Especially when people meet me, they always think I'm African. No one ever thinks I'm Caribbean until they get to know me. So when I got to Penn State, everyone was like, oh, boom, you're African. Especially because my name is Wade, so I guess that sounds African or whatever. So I went to school. Everyone was like, oh, you're Liberian. I was very involved in African Student Association, so that was the organization we had at school. I went to CSA, so CSA is Caribbean Student Association. I went to their events my freshman year, but not really. The honest to goodness truth is I went more to African stuff. And so I would just be, popping my head in, so that's how I was known. People thought I was African alone. But then sophomore year, I started becoming more involved with CSA and getting my neck out there. And I was a model in our annual show. So that introduced me to like a lot more Caribbean people. I started getting involved in like that realm. So everyone was like, oh, you're Guyanese. I didn't know that. So that was like getting involved there. But when I started involving myself in Caribbean culture, I noticed a lot of the Africans like immediately were just like, oh, like you're not, like you're Liberian, but you ain't like Liberian because
you're black, but you're not black.
Yeah, like because you don't hang around us all the time, especially like the Liberians, because I can't speak like them, even though I understand it completely. They were just like, you ain't really like Liberian, and you never been to Liberia either. So they were just kind of like, And then like the Caribbean people, they knew I was Caribbean and stuff, but I didn't really know Caribbean music. So like I knew lots of African music, but I didn't know like any carnival, dance hall songs, like for real. So they were just looking at me like, you ain't really Caribbean. So I was kind of like trying to balance like both. Like I was like, what am I really then? Because nobody really wants to fully accept me. But sophomore year was a hard year in general. But like, yeah, that was definitely the hardest part of that.
So, what advice would you give to all these, I know it's like, previously it was like graduation season, so there's going to be a lot of freshmen entering college fall 2019. Right now they are out here enjoying summer, living their best lives. So what do you, like, what's your advice in terms of like preparing? Like, obviously things are going to happen and that's fine. But if there are like little suggestions that you can give them, like little tidbits, like even as like something as simple as like what to take to college outside of the norm, like, oh, bring your clothes and bed sheets and things like that. Like things that are comforting for home, like home comfort type stuff that would help them. Any advice about like,
are you like boys? Are you like girls? Do not make that priority. It really does not matter. Literally focus on your books. Like, focus on your grades. Focus on getting your A's. Like, no, don't, like, it's college. It's a 4-year time period. Most people are not serious about anything, and that's okay. If you're not serious, it's fine. We're young, whatever. But don't be putting all your eggs in one basket. That's the first thing. Second thing, all them clothes you're going to bring from home, you're not going to wear half of them. You're not going to wear them. You're going to wear the same stupid stuff every single day, especially where I am. I go to school in the cold. So ain't nobody going to see your outfit. You're going to be wearing sweatpants, Uggs, and a coat literally every single day to class. Like, be minimal of the stuff that you're going to bring, especially clothes. Freshmen, they come in and they got to bring their whole life from home to college. I promise you, you're not going to need it. And it would be smart to take it and bring things home, like in sections. So for example, if you're going to school, maybe don't bring all your winter stuff until you go back home for Thanksgiving. So you would go back home for Thanksgiving and then bring the stuff back up with you, unless it gets cold really quickly, wherever you go to. But you're not gonna wear all them clothes. I promise you, you're not gonna wear them. Especially women, you're not gonna wear them. What's the third thing? I would say, get involved. Sign up. So our school has a welcome fair the first week of school, and it's like a big fair where like every single organization on campus comes and basically has a booth, and they talk, and like you go to the booth, you sign up for the org if you like it, and you get to learn more about the different orgs. Sign up for things that catch your attention, but don't sign up for 10 million things, and don't feel obligated to go to all of those things. If you walk past a booth and it's for pottery and you know you don't like pottery, don't sign up. Like, you don't have to. It's really not by force. Like, just keep walking. Be like, no thank you. Like, you do not have to sign up for everything. Sign up for things that actually like catch your attention. So and then if you really are intrigued by, if you go to a meeting, you're really intrigued, continue to go, because that's the easiest way to make friends, is by joining these organizations, because you're finding people who have similar interests as you do. And yeah, so don't just join. I would say don't just sign up for the stereotypical ones. So for example, if you're Black, don't just sign up for BSU and like that's it. There's many people in Black Student Union. Sign up for other things that like in trick your interest, that you would find different types of people in. That's another thing. Okay, so, this is something that a lot of people don't talk about. If you are looking for scholarships or like financial aid or any way to assist, actively look for them. These universities, they have the money, especially a place like a big institution like Penn State. They have the money. You just have to find it, and they're not gonna tell you. Like, no one at institutions are gonna help you save money, because they don't want you to save their money. They want you to spend their money on them. But I'm telling you, if you actively search and look for scholarships for your particular college, you can find it. Talk to the deans, talk to professors, try to figure out what are ways, look up research, try to research ways to get scholarships. And it's usually for like little things too. There were scholarships for people, like she was saying, for who are left-handed. Like, scholarships for literally anything. So take advantage of those. To go down the track of like money, if you have time for it, find a job. Like, and it doesn't even have to be anything too crazy. I have friends who work at the Commons desk at school, so that's the people who assist with like housings, like keys, packages and stuff. And you can, like, that's not too big of a commitment. It's like maybe like a 3-4 hour thing every other day, maybe. Work at the library, do something in the cafe, something that's quick. You can make a little money on the side. Anything can help in terms of like money. In terms of academics, I would say that to be disciplined in doing your work, that was my biggest problem. A lot of times I would always think I had all this free time in the world to do work, when the truth of the matter is I didn't. So make a specific time of day that you want to do your homework and commit to that, and make it so that you don't have any other distractions during that time period. So let's say you're done with classes at 2:30, 3 o'clock, you need to be in wherever study place that you can do your work in, and sit there and do your work. and that's your designated time. Don't let anybody interrupt that time, because when you're in college, there's nobody there to tell you what to do and how to do it. So you have to decide for yourself that you want to make your academics a priority.
So we're gonna wrap up. We actually have a dessert. She didn't know. So we're actually gonna show you guys this amazing dessert that we're going to have.
You made it?
No. Ain't no cooking with these mukbangs. This is strictly like, I mean, I guess at some point I probably will cook, but initially no. All right, so give me a second. Be right back. As soon as Bade finishes, we are going to have our dessert, our postre. All right, so today's dessert brought to you by Sardis. And I'm reading the ingredients. It's like really simple. This is what I like. Like when I'm about to put something in my body, like I need to make sure I can pronounce everything they choose. All right, so this is made out of flour, milk, eggs, sugar, honey, vanilla, whipped cream, and cinnamon.
That sounds good.
That's it.
No natural flavors.
No natural flavors, no nothing extra, no sodium something, which is interesting because usually there's always like some remnants of salt in everything, but there's no sodium, nothing, which is whatever, I'll take it.
I'm saving this.
Yeah. Right? 3 milk cake. All right, and we're actually both gonna try this for the first time. You've never had this from them, right? All right, we're actually both gonna try this for the first time from this particular restaurant, Sardis. What is that noise? Oh, that's the construction outside. All right, so we're gonna unbox our tres leches cake. It is pretty, guys. Take a look. You can kind of see hers, kinda. Right? I've had it before from like a bunch of times, but like my favorite place to get it from is Whole Foods. Banging, and then I've had like homemade, and that's even more banging. All right, you ready? All right, we're gonna try it. It don't taste like the one I'm used to. I think the cinnamon for me is overpowering.
I've never had to taste it. It's like really creamy.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very creamy. It doesn't really taste like the cake.
It's like milk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very creamy. Not bad, but
Not bad. But I probably would eat this.
yeah. Is this your first time having dress? Oh, I didn't know.
Like first time ever having like this type of thing ever.
Really? Oh, that's the premise of the thing. Is tres leches cake, 3 milks.
Yeah, like I've heard of it before, but I've never had it before.
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to taste milky.
That was so milky.
It's 3 milks, what?
But it's like soup.
It's like, yeah, this is really moist.
Yeah.
Really, really moist. It's really, I mean, it's all right. On a scale of like 1 to 5.
Not even 1 to 5, 1 to 10.
1 to 10. No, but in all fairness, she cannot rate this.
Why?
It's your first one.
So
You cannot rate your first one. You need at least one more piece.
to compare?
Yeah, to be like, okay, this definitely tastes different. Because if you've had multiple versions of this, it does taste different. The one at Whole Foods is not. It's wet, but this is really wet.
I would give this like a.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10 for desserts.
Oh.
That's what we're gonna do because she cannot judge this. This is her first one.
Honestly, like a 6.
That's a lot higher than I thought.
It's like a 5 or 6. I don't like, cause when I think dessert, I think this don't taste sweet. It tastes more like.
This is not sweet to you?
It's sweet, but
this thing is sweet.
Something I've like enjoyed. Give you like a taste of like what desserts I like. I like stuff like creme brulee. How you say it? And I love ice cream.
Y'all hear this?
And sherbets and stuff.
You hear this?
This is like.
You hear this?
This is fake dessert. Like
this is not. How are you gonna call culture fake? This is
no, but like no. it's the dessert is like
How is she gonna call this a fake dessert? I'm gonna take this out. Y'all hear this, man?
No, it's like it's alright. It's alright.
I definitely rated it higher than I thought. I was expecting her to say like a 3.
No, I would give it like a 6, like a 5 or 6, for sure.
Somewhat neutral.
Yeah, like I think what's turning me off is the fact that it has so much milk in it.
Yeah, this is very wet.
It's just it's wet. Like
very wet.
I feel like I'm eating soup.
Yeah, no, it's not really this wet.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So I'm not a fan, but.
All right, so
their food is good.
She's not a fan of the tres leches cake. Then I should have bought I was thinking about buying flan. You like flan?
Afraid I never had that even. I'm not a dessert person. I'm
Fire her.
I'm not. I don't
Cut.
eat a lot of dessert.
You don't have to eat a lot of dessert, but to be able to like just take a little sample.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to upgrade my palate. So
yeah, we're gonna bring her back for another mukbang because she is extremely interested in mental health. On her Instagram page.
Yes, my Instagram, WAHDAE. Every Monday, I actually post these things called Mental Health Mondays, where I pick a topic and discuss it on my story. And I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. So my major is psychology and criminology, but I want to pursue a career as being a therapist. So psychology is very important to me, and I love not only learning about it, but also educating people on what I've learned. So please check it out. Check me out.
All right. A link to her Instagram page will be below, and I will also put it on the screen. So please make sure you follow her and tell her I sent you. And we are out.